When I first started Betfair Trading, I just stuck to football. It was all I did. I stuck to football, learned some strategies on that, and just kept going. But as I've started to get into Betfair Trading a little bit more, I've really transitioned over into tennis trading. Now, I've done a little bit of research to see what the main differences are between the two. This isn't just going to be a video of me saying one's better than the other. We're going to look at some of the advantages of one, disadvantages of the other, and vice versa. Because I feel like there's good opportunities in both sports, but I definitely do prefer my tennis trading now, and hopefully I'll be able to convince some of you guys that tennis trading might be a little bit better. So I am going to start off by talking through some of the benefits of tennis trading, just because I really do like it, and I think it's such a more smooth transition over into tennis trading if you're someone who's betted before. Because if you were someone like me who used to bet quite a lot, the move from betting to trading when you're doing it on the same sport, so for example I used to bet quite a bit with football, trying to then trade football, you still have a bit of that betting mindset in there, and it really does mess with some of your trades. So I think going to a completely fresh sport for trading can sometimes be a lot more beneficial for you, because you're going in, you're just learning all the new processes, and it's a little bit different. It kind of takes the emotion out of it. But let's just have a look at a tennis match first of all. So let's get this refreshed, get rid of the ones that I finished, and just open up, say for example, this one. If we look at this, the opportunities for trading, the odds change so frequently all the time. You can literally see there that after every single point that is won, there is a swing in the odds. Whereas if we come over to say football trading and look at just a random team here, it does have a gradual change. You can see it's moving up. But that is more of the same when it comes to football. Everything within football is kind of a gradual change, which isn't bad. It's nice and slow, and it can be beneficial at points. But there's limited opportunities for profit there. There's still opportunities, but they are limited when you compare it to something like tennis, which has an opportunity what feels like every 3 seconds. You can see there, huge spike, huge potential for profit. Huge spike there, huge potential for profit. But obviously on the flip side of that as well, you have to understand that that could also be huge potential for loss, huge potential for loss. Whereas with football, it's a lot more predictable. You know what's happening, you know where the gradual change is coming in, and the gradual odds are going to shift. So it makes it a little bit more safe in a way for certain markets to be able to use. There's not going to be that huge shift unless a goal comes. That's the one aspect of a game where you really see them big spikes, like you get in tennis here. You have them huge spikes all the time. If we even look at another one here, you can see huge spike there. You get them huge spikes in tennis. You only really get them huge spikes in football when there's a goal. So for example, if we come over to this team, you can see big spike down there, even bigger spike there. A goal is the main trigger point in football trading. In tennis trading, it's just every single point that is won is a huge trading point. Now another aspect that gets overlooked sometimes is the suspended markets. So if we look over at this football selection here, as soon as a goal comes in or a certain type of card gets shown or anything like that, the market will just get suspended while that gets sorted out. And that gives you a little bit, it doesn't really change too much, but it is just annoying when that happens. You can see we've got a suspension down there, it's just gone there, but you'll get suspensions from time to time, and they can just be annoying because they're going to disrupt your flow with trading. It's going to restrict you cashing out, could potentially reduce your profits. It could have a huge knock-on effect. But when we look at tennis, you can see that match has been suspended because it's finished. So it goes suspended then closed. But in terms of actually during the gameplay, the market doesn't get suspended. It's always open to be traded on. There's no interruptions when it comes to tennis. So it's quite nice and smooth for when you're first starting out with trading. When I was researching the main differences between tennis and football, I saw quite a lot of people say that tennis is an all-round year support, and you've got tennis matches every single day pretty much all year. But I kind of disagree with that one as being an advantage, because you always have football matches as well. You've got the summer leagues, you've got the winter leagues, there's always football on. So I feel like when it comes to availability of selection, they both match out each other. There's always football on, there's always tennis on. You don't need to worry about being short of selections. And then again, just jumping back to that selection before, tennis, you can really take the emotion out of it. You're not backing a certain team, you're not following the team you support, there's not, oh, but I know that team scores. There's none of that involved when it comes to tennis. Majority of the time when it comes to tennis, every time you do a trade, it'll be with different opponents, different competitors, some you won't even know. It's very much, you're looking at the data, you're fully analysing it, and you're using that for your trades. I know everyone says that's what you do with football as well, but emotion does sneak into it, and that's where errors start to happen. I've had it happen with me before, I'm sure some of you guys have had it happen too. It's impossible to fully extract the emotion from the football, so that's why tennis, I think, has a little bit of an edge. But then again, moving over to football, there is a lot of advantages with football. There is so much more research that you can do with football. I've got so many different stats websites that I use that have so much information on them, and they make it so easy to try and establish patterns with research on previous matches. Tennis, there is less available for that. There isn't as much statistics and analysis out there. There probably is on lesser known websites that are a bit harder to use, but compared to football, football massively wins in that department. Again, football also wins in the testing department. When I test my strategies, if I just get some of them up here, when I've been testing this under 2.5 goal strategy, it's so easy to do. I've got my research set out here, I've got my odds set out, I've got my profit and loss all determined. It's so easy to do. But when it comes to tennis, it's a lot more intense and time consuming when you're tracking a new strategy. You have to sit there, you have to watch the whole match, you have to basically wait for the opportunities to happen. There's less apps out there just to get quick notifications on for alerts. It's a nightmare to try and plan out strategies on tennis compared to football. And then I'm also going to use a disadvantage as an advantage for football here. When I said before that it's slow and not a lot happens unless there's goals, that can be a big bonus. Some people might find tennis trading too quick. I could go into tennis right now, find a match that I want to trade on. If I wanted to lay in the first set winner, there's literally an opportunity there to do it. I could come on here, lay the winner, be in and out of that within 10 minutes. Possibly 5. There's some other sniping strategies that you can use on tennis where you can literally be in and out in a minute, sometimes even less. But when it comes to football, it is mainly a longer term, drawn out, you know what you're waiting for, you've got your exit point predetermined, and you can just relax while it's going on. You don't need to worry too much about everything kicking off. It doesn't happen too often in football. You know what you're waiting for, you know what the market trigger points are, and it's just quite a nice, slow, calm process. Completely different to tennis, and I suppose it just depends on which one you prefer. If you prefer really fast-paced, intense trading, you've got tennis. If you prefer some nice, slower, waiting for triggers to happen that will make you meet your profit, that are a bit more predictable, then you've got football. But let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. Let me know which one has the advantages and disadvantages. I know there's horse trading as well. I just don't get on really well with horse trading. I haven't found a strategy yet that I've fell in love with. I know there's cricket trading, but there's very little out there on that, although we are going to look into that in the next few weeks. You can pretty much trade any sport. So let me know which ones you prefer to trade and why down in the comments, and it might persuade me to give some of them a go. But hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.